The best way to think of Gold Hill is it's basically the southwest quarter of the city. It covers downtown, the Broadmoor, South Nevada Avenue corridor, over onto the west side of Colorado Springs, right up against Manitou Springs. So if you look at the city like a square, we're basically the southwest square. My name is John Koch. I am the division commander of the Gold Hill Division. I've been with CSPD as a sworn officer for just about 19 years now. Prior to that, I was a cadet explorer when I was in college. My time with the department's been pretty amazing. I started as a patrol officer, and then I went and became a detective in the Crimes Against Children unit, and then the homicide unit. After homicide, I became a patrol sergeant and then was sent back to the investigations division where I supervised an investigative unit in special victims that worked on felony domestic violence and adult sexual assault and sexual violence crimes. From there, I went to the internal affairs section. That was 6 months and was more than enough time for me there. And I was promoted to lieutenant in the Sand Creek division after that. I was a Metro V&I lieutenant working in our Vice Narcotics and Intelligence section for just about a year and a half, and then I've been a commander for about a year now. So it's been really an interesting career. Years ago, probably in the 80s, up through the mid-80s, the city was split into the East and West patrol divisions. And then, obviously the city grew north and started growing east, and we split the department into initially 3 divisions. I think that was right around 1985, and that's when Gold Hill, Falcon, and Sand Creek came into existence, and we weren't just east and west anymore. Since then, obviously, we've added another patrol division, but yeah, Gold Hill's been around just about 37 years now. So I can tell you we have right now exactly 71 patrol officers. If we're fully staffed, we have in the mid-80s, roughly, I think it's about 85. But that's just officers doing patrol. That doesn't account for the homeless outreach team and the downtown area response teams, which is another 21 officers and 3 supervisors that get added to that. So Gold Hill's a little bit different, and I'm sure we'll probably get into that. But generally, patrol divisions, you'll start with officers and civilian support personnel, like people that work the front desk or maybe work in offices or help with case filings, things like that. And then above those individuals is a sergeant, and above that is a lieutenant, and then the top of the chain of command in a division is the commander. So usually, depending on the division, there's 3 to 4 patrol lieutenants that are assigned there, and then probably, in the area of 12 to 20 sergeants, just depending on the size of the division and anything special it might do. And then obviously there's one commander. Gold Hill is probably the most diverse division in terms of what occurs there every day and what we are responsible for doing. And I say that because unlike the other patrol divisions, Gold Hill is responsible for the downtown area and the Old West Side Business District, which is Old Colorado City. We also are kind of the epicenter for issues related to homelessness. And as a result of that, in addition to what patrol divisions normally do, which is put patrol officers on the street, have detectives who investigate divisional crimes, we also have teams that are dedicated to the special pieces of Gold Hill. One of those is the homeless outreach team. They're commonly referred to as HOT. And the purpose of that program is to help people get out of homelessness and get into a position where we can help them find housing and resources and things like that. Now, HOT itself is responsible for a lot of enforcement of criminal laws and ordinances related to homelessness, but that's not all they do. They work with counselors and the Springs Rescue Mission and all of these community agencies to try and get people out of homelessness and into a position where they can improve their lives. There tends to be a belief that we can enforce our way out of this particular problem, and that's not the case. Enforcement is a piece of the solution, but it is not the whole solution, and that's why HOT works with so many other partners to try to have a really significant impact on this. The second part of Gold Hill that's special is the downtown area. You know, Gold Hill now has Widener Field and Robeson Arena and the Olympic and Paralympic Museum, and then obviously the Central Business District and all of the government buildings and things like that. And because of that, and the late hours concentrated in nightlife and things like that, we have special teams that are called DART teams. DART stands for Downtown Area Response Team, that work specifically in the downtown area with merchants and community members and businesses and citizens and all of the things that I just discussed to specifically address things that are of concern to that area. And that can be issues of public access or business access, large events that occur downtown, nightlife, big parties, things like that, that tend to be centralized in the downtown area instead of other parts of the city. And so that's one of DART's goals. One of DART's other goals is to work in what we call an urban renewal area, or URA, which is the South Nevada corridor right now, and to work with those business members, community members down there in addressing some of the specific crime problems that we have in that area. And DART is able to do that as part of their mission. So really, you know, those teams make Gold Hill very different from some of the other patrol divisions in what they do. So divisional detectives, they kind of do a little bit of everything. That's the best way to describe their job. Those detectives essentially get assigned felony level cases that are not assigned to a specialized investigative unit like a homicide or a sexual assault or a robbery or something like that. And so those detectives on any given day can find themselves investigating felony cases from stalkings to felony assaults to burglary patterns to possession of weapons by felons and all manner of things that can land on their plate. One of the things that I've always thought is really fascinating about divisional investigations is just the amount of casework that you can do and how the tentacles from a property crime or a fraud or something can spread into homicides and robberies and so many things. So those detectives, they kind of do a little bit of everything. It's a place you go to investigate a number of crimes and to really find your footing as a detective. The interesting thing about civilian positions is that people sometimes forget that they exist in a police department and they focus on sworn personnel, and civilians have a huge role, not just in the Gold Hill Division, but across the department. In the Gold Hill Division, it starts with CSRs and CSOs. So CSRs are community service representatives that work at the front desk and answer the phones and interact with people that come in to the lobby of the division and need to speak with someone about, you know, whatever it is that they're coming to see us on. And then CSOs, or community service officers, are civilian personnel that work in the field alongside our police officers. They play a crucial role in responding to calls for service that don't need a sworn officer or a sworn resource. And so we can free those sworn officers up to respond to other calls for service while those CSOs handle things that don't require arrest powers or law enforcement authority. Number one is the homelessness issue. You know, that's a citywide issue, but it's really concentrated in the Gold Hill Division because of all the resources that exist there and the main thoroughfares, and that's something that we deal with pretty consistently. Sometimes people think that homelessness just affects those that are experiencing homelessness, and while it certainly has an impact on those individuals, it also impacts the broader city in ways that I didn't really understand until I became a commander. You know, the expense of pollution of waterways and what littering can do and all of the damage that can occur ecologically and those types of things that we address. And so Gold Hill uniquely addresses an outsized percentage of the homelessness issue in Colorado Springs. Again, also unique to us is the downtown area. The development that has happened downtown and that is happening downtown is just amazing. You know, downtown's not growing out, it's already geographically constrained, but it's growing up. 30-story apartment buildings and new sports venues and things like that. Most of the city's major special events, parades and celebrations and things like that happen in Gold Hill. We also are the epicenter generally of any kind of civil unrest or protests that might occur because of the proximity of City Hall and the Police Operations Center and the City Administration Building, all in the downtown area. So Gold Hill has a number of things that make it unique. I think also what really makes Gold Hill unique is just the diversity of the neighborhoods and the demographics. You can go from abject poverty and homelessness under a bridge and within a mile be looking at a $10 million, well, probably a $5 million home, and be in neighborhoods where there's just opulent wealth. And so that is a really interesting environment to police in, because one minute you may be dealing with someone who has nothing but the shoes on their feet, and the next minute you're dealing with a person who has more resources than you can imagine, and that's a very unique part of the division. Gold Hill has Cheyenne Canyon and parts of Garden of the Gods and Red Rocks, and you know, we bump right up against Manitou where there's the incline and all of these types of outdoor things that Colorado Springs is known for. And so policing those areas brings a special dynamic. You know, we always want people to be able to enjoy the outdoors, but the reality is there are people that are going to victimize those individuals either by breaking into cars or stealing property or whatever the case may be. So we do have special deployments and teams that work on those deployments to address those crime problems, to work in the parks, to stop people from breaking into cars, to work with area businesses, all of those types of things. Are all my Gold Hill resources downtown? No, absolutely not. The thing about Gold Hill, and I can say this also makes us unique, is that probably more than any other division, we draw specialized resources from other areas to help us with so many of the things that are occurring down there. When you look at, you know, the opening of Widener Field and switchback games and sesquicentennial celebrations and potential protests and stuff like that, we pretty consistently are drawing from the Specialized Enforcement Division, special events, other areas to bring officers in to help work those events. And we do not take on-duty patrol resources to address those areas or incidents unless there's some type of law enforcement emergency. So people fairly frequently ask me, hey, where are my police officers? Are they all downtown? The answer is no. We staff the division throughout the division with police officers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So every division has a crime prevention officer, or CPO, and in Gold Hill, our crime prevention officer works almost exclusively on some of the things that I've talked about today. He's consistently engaged with the military, because that's another thing that makes Gold Hill unique, is we're right up against Fort Carson and right up against NORAD and a lot of these military installations. So our CPO works to develop neighborhood watch groups throughout the Gold Hill Division. And last count, I think we had 192, 3 days ago, 192 neighborhood watch groups in the Gold Hill Division. I think just about 700 citywide. I'd have to check those numbers to be exact, but it's right around 700. The CPO, he works on issues of trail safety, on issues of crime prevention. He works with DART and HOT and patrol and divisional investigations to identify crime patterns, what we call hotspots, or areas where we see, you know, spiking in criminal activity that we need to address. The Gold Hill Division is always available to the public, except at night, overnight. You have to go to the POC for that. But yes, we are absolutely open to members of the public. We host children for tours all the time, and we've had birthday parties for kids in our lineup and brought cakes and presents and all of these types of things in. We hold a lot of community meetings, and we encourage people to come down and see us. You know, part of being able to effectively police a community is being able to interact with the people who live, work, and play in that area. And so we encourage everyone to come by and see us, even if it's just to stop in real quick and say hello.